All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. So excited for this episode of Elite Zone. Today, we're going to be talking about the online visibility shift that every real estate agent needs to understand. Okay, this is going to be, not about tactics first. All right, I'm going to bring myself on stage here. Hello, there I am. How you doing? Yeah, so again, this isn't about tactics, okay? This episode is about the structural shift in how opportunity is really created, okay? And so what we're going to do is, instead of talking about how to rank here, this episode, this is going to explain why ranking, trust, and authority are now decided before the buyer or seller even clicks, okay? Now, and often the AI algorithms are acting as the silent gatekeepers. Okay. And that's just really, really important for you guys to know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, welcome to Elite Zone. I hope you look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I've been sick for the past several days, so this is an act.
Got it. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I already started the episode.
All right.
Because I didn't know if you were coming. So I'm just going to clap and start again because this is just a recording.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Elite Zone. Good morning. Good morning. Super excited to be here this morning to talk about a foundational piece, the online visibility shift that every agent needs to understand. And this episode, guys, is not going to be about, flashy tactics or how to rank per se. We're going to be talking more about why ranking, trust, and authority are now decided before the buyer and seller even clicks. I've got Shauna Stevens with me. Shauna, you look okay, but you said you feel a little under the weather. What's going on?
I'm feeling a lot better today, but yeah, I think I had like some stomach flu in our house the last week.
Oh no! All right. Well, look, I hope
It's
that
been great.
I hope you're on the rebound. Yeah, and appreciate you showing up. Absolutely. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about the old visibility model. The biggest, your effort does not equal opportunity anymore. Visibility does, right? Would you agree, Shauna? If you
Yeah.
can effort as much as you can, but if you're invisible, it's not going to do much. So grinding harder,
hmm
buying more ads, relying on referrals, be good and business will come doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, um, I can make all the phone calls in the world, but the minute somebody tries to look me up online, if I'm invisible, it's not going to do anything, right? And that's the biggest reality that a lot of agents are facing right now. A lot of agents are still trying to live through, the COVID era and what it was
Mm,
like 2021 and even into
yep.
2022, and you just can't rely on that to be the only way that you get business anymore. People just aren't um, reaching out as much or believing that referral
Yep.
necessarily before they do their own research. That's really, I mean, everybody knows best, right? I've got Google, I've got
Exactly.
AI.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great way to put it. Everybody knows best, and they're starting online before they talk to anybody. And even if somebody says,
hmm
"Hey, so and so is a real estate agent. I know them, and they've done, they've helped out some of my friends or family," you're still going to Google them. You're still going to look them up and see, what are their reviews like? What have the experiences been like? X, Y, and Z. So,
Yeah.
that the algorithms are pre-filtering choices. AI is now, it's literally pointing people to websites. It's not just giving a bunch of options. You can be really specific with it. So the hard truth is you're not competing agent versus agent anymore. You're competing with the algorithm that
hmm
defines what agent to trust.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff. Now, if you're not visible in the systems, you're not in the conversation. So then how do you become visible? Visibility, as we said, now dictates your opportunity. So and visibility isn't branding per se, it's your distribution. So what Shauna, when we say visibility, what does that mean? Like if I'm an agent and I'm like, well, what do you mean I need more visibility? What would you
Yeah.
say that means?
It's that exposure, it's that, content, it's that insight about you everywhere that a consumer might search, right? So a lot of people would rely on referrals, right? Everybody wants to be a huge referral agent, and that's not a bad thing, like, that still should be your strategy. However,
Hmm.
getting referred is the first part. It's also carrying that experience and showcasing that through your visibility online and everywhere else is the second part, because people get referred, right? Word of mouth and everything, but the first thing people do is, "Hey, can you tell me a little bit about this person, this real estate agent?" Right? Is this
Right.
person ranking? What do they come up, right? It's the same thing that we talk about is if somebody wants to sell their home, they wanna know that you can sell it faster and for the most amount of money than any other agent, right? The longer a
Exactly.
house sits on the market, the less likely you're gonna get that asking price, and the more money every single person in that transaction loses for it just being on the market, right? And
Hmm.
so, well, if I'm selling my home and I look at agent 1 versus agent 2, right? Agent 1 has the five-star ratings all over the place, has
Yep.
a great online presence, is coming up in AI, right? And agent 2, has a couple reviews on Zillow, but other than that, they just, go off of word of mouth. Well, what agent's gonna get me more exposure? That's what they're asking themselves, right? And so being visible is about taking over the mind share and that audience, the billboards out there in everybody's mind, right? Now, doesn't mean go buy a bunch of billboard ads, but it means go inventory your go look at how
That'd
you
be.
did.
Hang on. I just something funny just popped into my mind. I'm picturing agents listening to this, and one of them literally going out and buying a bunch of billboards just because they're like, well, they were talking about buying billboards on the podcast, so that's what I did, and now they got billboards up all throughout the town. That would be hilarious. If you want to buy billboards, buy billboards. But listen, there's a lot more that goes to it. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there.
Right? And, like, some people it works. If you have the budget to, become more visible than anybody else, yeah, the billboard's gonna just
Hmm.
add more to it.
For
It
sure.
doesn't it's not that it doesn't work, it's just how you're using it, where you're at is what's gonna allow you to see what works better than others, right? And so when we
Right.
talk about visibility, like, that's the first part of the funnel, right? If you
Exactly.
dominate that visibility of the funnel, that means you have that credibility, that mind share. You're taking, you know, um, the noise is you, right? Think about it.
Yes.
Again, McDonald's doesn't really have to advertise anymore if they don't want to. Yet they want to dominate that visibility over any other fast food chain, right?
Yep.
It's no different than a real estate agent. Now you can come up a little, but your competitor's always going to try to be outshine you. So you have to keep
For
working at it.
sure.
And so I think a
Yep,
lot
you
of
gotta
times
keep hustling.
what agents do is they're like, "Oh yeah, became top in Google and I became top here." And then they stop doing things, but then somebody else beats them. And so visibility is an infinite game. Like you can't just stop once you hit the top. You have to keep playing
Yep.
because somebody else is going to come up with different rules and different loopholes and algorithms are going to change and you have to remain at the
Yes.
top. Visibility is always there.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. So that's, showing up consistently, Google Maps, directories, reviews, posting to social media, blogs on your website, neighborhood pages, things that add value. We're looking at ways to rank for AI, all of this kind of stuff. It's a complete ecosystem. And a lot of times when I talk to agents and they say, well, I want to focus on like these two things and the rest I'll do later. I always say like that's great if you want to do that you can, but it's so much more about a whole entire system that works together now. So if you're just
Yeah.
doing two lanes out of the 10, you might get some gains, but when you come back later and you're like, "Hey, like why is this stuff not working?" It's because you have to build up your whole ecosystem. And the best agent doesn't win anymore. The most trusted agent wins, the most trusted digital footprint. So,
Mhm.
the invisible agent doesn't lose deals. They don't even get the chance anymore,
Yeah, that's a good point.
you
They
know?
don't, right? And you have to remember is, like, just kinda like you said, is you look at it like, planting a garden or working out, the gym membership. Like, the gyms all have the largest, producing month of the entire year, January. Okay.
For sure.
New Year's resolutions, right? And but then it starts falling off March, April,
Yep.
May, June because people aren't sticking to those resolutions. And it's the same thing when you're talking about being visible is it's you've got to make the resolution, but you got to be consistent daily doing the boring things like
Yep.
getting up, going to gym, doing the same workout, eating the same food. It's the same thing when you're talking about brand and ranking and visibility. You got to get up, you got to put in, the 10, 15, 20 minutes a day on something, whether it's doing a post, on social media or adding a lead to
Right.
your CRM or doing a safe search or making that phone call. Like it's the same boring regimen of building a pipeline, right? Is also starts with your visibility. And if you never want a dry pipeline, then always continue working on that visibility to outrank the competition.
Yep. Yeah.
Be
And
boring.
AI is exactly, exactly. And I think, AI is such a hot button now. Um, and if you think about it, if an agent is like, well, I'm good at what I do, so I'll cut through the noise no matter what. And AI is cool, but the thing is like your AI is like your new referral partner for
Mhm.
everything. You're gonna ask
Yeah.
AI everything about health, about money, about jobs, about random like people trust it. People
Mhm.
trust AI, right? So if
You're
AI
trusting it
says
more
this
than
is
some of the experts, right?
exactly. Right. Yeah. People are like, okay, well, he told me one thing, but let me just double check with Chat GPT and see what that says. I mean, if
Right?
Chat GPT or AI says you're legit, then the consumers going to believe it. They're going to believe, yeah,
Right?
they're
And
legit. So
so
to
when
your
you
point,
look
that
at that.
consistency, yeah,
No, go
go
ahead,
for it.
sorry.
I was just going to say your consistency, credibility,
Mhm.
that's what's going to continue to show up and continue to have AI
Yeah,
redirect people to you.
yeah. So, and a lot
Yep.
of times is when you look at the AI, all AI is doing is pulling the info and content from other places, especially from your website, from
Mhm.
your directories, right? And so, do you want AI pulling just random stuff from other people, meaning others own the visibility about you and are monetizing you? Or do
Right.
you want to be the one that says who you are, what you do, why you do it, right? And so it's all about the control. Do you want to be in control of that info or do you want somebody else? Right. And so you have the advantage with your website and with everything out there to control it, what AI says about you and what others say about you by feeding it more.
Yeah,
Add a blog
absolutely,
post a week,
and
add a social post, little things like
yep.
that.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, if you're working in a specific neighborhood and you're supposed to be the neighborhood expert there and you want AI to tell people searching that you're the neighborhood expert, then you'll probably need some content on your website that's very specific about that neighborhood. So, yes, all of this stuff really really important and conflicting data is confusing to AI. So that's why, with the local presence, we talk about the name, address, phone number, keeping this stuff consistent, ranking it everywhere. Like sometimes we plug agents into this and it gives like 6 or 7 different addresses because they've moved from one office to the next office or from one broker to another, or they have a home office and it's a different address. And so, it's hard for AI to say, oh, well, this is the expert in this area if they don't even know what area that is and they don't even know if it's the same business because there's 3 or 4 different addresses listed and 2 different Facebook accounts and 3 different Yelp accounts because people made multiple. I mean, it's all of this stuff matters a ton now. It's just changed so much. So
Yeah.
that's why we're always pushing the local presence thing and really hoping that that catches on, because it's super super important if you want to rank for what you do best from AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to be a visible agent. You don't want to be invisible. Two agents can work equally hard. One compounds, one stalls. We've been talking about this. So if we describe the invisible agent, so if this sounds like you, listen up here. Your website exists, but it's not connected. No CRM, no smart automation, nothing like that. Your Google profile is maybe half filled out. You have a couple of reviews on there, but not a lot. They're kind of sporadic. Your last one is maybe from 2018, 2019, and across all the platforms, your info is inconsistent or non-existent. Now, if you don't know if this is you, then please call us. Get in touch. You can
Mhm.
scan your business like that, and you'll be able to tell. But that's what the invisible agent looks like. So this is what we're talking about. Now, the visible agent, you've got the same info consistent everywhere. Your website is the authority hub. That's wherever you're directing people to. Your reviews are active and they're replied to, even if they're negative. It's basically signaling constantly refreshed content and
Mhm.
consistency and engagement, right?
Yeah.
And that compounds after time or over time.
Mhm. I mean, you gotta stop looking at, just a website for a business card in the sky. It's gotta be a living kind of lead gen ecosystem, right? You gotta stop writing blog posts or content like it's 2010, right? We're
Yep.
not
Yep.
keyword stuffing. Google doesn't want that, You wanna look AI is looking for natural language and, like, trust signals, right?
Right.
So you're basically on your website, the content you wanna write is to teach AI who you are so it recommends you, not trying to rank for specific words because AI
Yes.
can see right through that, right? And so and then you gotta stop having this, like, scattered approach where it's like, "Oh, I got this website over here, and they take care of this and do this, and then I got the Facebook page over here, and then I got the Google business profile here." They're all disconnected, like, that's the old model, right? They
Yep.
didn't talk to each other, right? And so you've gotta have a more integrated, system that's going to communicate with each other and kinda give the answers that consumers are looking for, right? You own your traffic, you own your brand, you own your content, you can own your local presence, but you got to take control over it and stop renting your business from Zillow and every other brokerage and things like that because
Yeah.
they're just doing it the game better than you are and then selling
Sure.
back to you
Yeah. I
the
mean,
leads and everything that
Zillow's
you
out
already
for
have.
them, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, they're out for
Mhm.
them. Zillow isn't, get listed on here and, become a premier agent, and then, we'll just maximize your business and blow you up. I mean, even if
Yeah.
that's what it looks like, at the end of the day, they're collecting all the
They've
data,
got a
all the
lot of
consumer
lawsuits going on right now
behavior.
for a reason.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So, and again, like we're not trying to, like downplay Zillow or anything like that, but it's don't rely on this. You should be in charge of your business. You should be the
Mhm.
owner, not your brokerage, not Zillow, not realtor.com, none of these places. It's got to be you. So the real question becomes then, Shauna, is how do you adapt without burning out and doing everything yourself? Because as an agent, I might be listening to this and, thinking like, geez, that sounds like a lot of work to do all that consistently.
I mean, a business is a lot of work, right? You're essentially like the CEO of your business, right? And so as a solo agent, like you don't need necessarily a marketing team. You just need the right tools, right? And so there's a lot of different ways, right? And I'm going to be a little biased and say like, yeah, you need Agent Elite. But instead of piecing together multiple tools, like you need a solution that fits your needs, right? And so
Yep.
you can have, either just the tools and do more of the stuff yourself, right? Where it's like we do have, websites to local presence tools to design studio, things like that. And then we have a lot of how to's on how you can, manage it, make it really easy for you to manage your system with different AI features. There's
Yep.
other stuff where you can, hire, buy the tools, but also hire us as like your concierge, where we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, right? And that could
Yep.
save you 10, 12, 15 hours a month. It depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve, is really going to be dependent on what avenues you want to take out there, right? There's other systems where it's like, hey, we can do ads for you, traffic, we can do a lot of stuff. But
Yep.
again, it's always going to come down to what you're doing, what you have time for, and what your goals are, right? Nobody should say that they have the end all be all system for you without understanding who you are and what you're doing. Because your business,
Yep.
I guarantee, runs a little different than the agent down the street, the agent down the street, the agent down the street, right? And so, and here at Agent Elite, we don't even know if we could help you, right?
No,
Until we
not not
actually
un
have a
not until we talk.
conversation with you to figure it out.
Exactly.
If not, we'll point you in the direction you need to go.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and that's really important. I mean, um, and another thing that I like to mention too is sometimes when I talk to people, we talk about how important organic content is and consistency over time, and they're like, "Well, then should I not do ads?" And it's like, no, we're not saying don't do ads. I think what I think is the ads should amplify the brand you already have,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So if I could win the lottery tomorrow and just be like, all right, I'm going to become a real estate agent, get my license, and then put $5 million into ads, but I have no experience. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just because I put a budget into ads doesn't necessarily mean I'm an authority.
It's
And
gonna
and
work
what
or
I'm
it's authority,
saying,
right?
right, and AI is seeing through that now. It
Mhm.
used to be on Google, hey man, give us as much money as you can and we'll make sure you rank at the top. But it's changed now, because
It has
AI.
to, right? Because of
Yeah.
AI, but the competition, right? It used to be nobody was really doing it, and now everybody's doing it, and so the cost per, ad lead impression goes up, and then they've got to switch it up because everybody's doing it, right? Good problem to
Yes.
have when everybody's doing it, but nobody's getting ranking. Well, they need to switch
Yep.
it up to stay competitive, right? And so as AI shifts, it's going to change. As more people jump in, it's going to change. The same thing when social media came out that nobody wanted to touch, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing when the internet came out when nobody wanted to touch it. It's the same thing when even the
Yes.
yellow pages came out and nobody wanted to touch it. Everybody
Yeah.
is, you know, wants to embrace change, but is so reluctant to touch it. Why? Because it's different. We fear
Yeah,
the unknown.
exactly.
We've never tampered with it, right? And so the
Yep.
biggest thing is like AI's been here. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. So this is one thing that you need to jump on the bandwagon now before it's too late, and you're behind. Because to keep up with the amount of content and everybody's going to be producing is going to be very difficult if you're not tapping into resources like AI and other avenues to help you.
For sure,
And those
and yes,
agents
I
will
think
overcome you.
right, right. So what I'm hearing is that, adaptation, it's not optional anymore, you have to do it, but you can make it more simple if it's, a system. Instead of grind and hustle and try to cram as much work into one day and then, get crappy sleep and, eliminate time with family, it's, "Okay, I need to systemize this. Who can help me
Mhm.
systemize it? Do I have a coach? Is there another agent that's doing this well that's a friend of mine and isn't going to be like, hey, F you? I'm not, going to tell you how to be successful. Can you connect with Agent Elite, people like us that are out here that are providing tools like this? And then, goes from ads to authority, not just ads. You have to have the authority. That's how you go from chasing to being chosen. You want people to search and come to you. So it's not really, visibility isn't necessarily about being louder or the loudest, but you need to be
Mhm.
recognized everywhere that it matters,
Yeah,
right? Yep. And
right?
so like how do I audit my visibility then?
So there's a couple ways. We've got a couple different visibility tools. You've got you know, experts that are available to help walk somebody through. But the first thing is like go to agentelite.com/visible. Okay. It's gonna give you a 35-page strategy playbook. It is our newest addition to the Visible Agent Playbook. It's on steroids. It has a lot of insight and strategy into how you can start, and then it's got
Mm,
some stuff in there about what we can do to help you. Whether you come with Agent Elite or not, we want agents to be successful regardless. Okay. And
Yep.
our visible agent framework is basically like building a house. You own the land, your website, you own the foundation, right? Every piece of content brick, right? That's is adding permanent value that is going to attract people for years. But you got to stop, renting that billboard or, only paying for ads or anything, because the minute you stop that, the visibility stops. You've got to have this, you can't afford to just have one thing. You've got to have that omnipresence now.
Yep, the omnipresence, the ecosystem, absolutely. And by the way, so all of you know, this episode is literally based on the first chapter of the Visible Agent Playbook. So this is kind of the stuff that we go over, and this is just like the 1 out of 10 chapters. So this playbook is very robust. It's very specific. It's not, a free guide that you download that's a 1-page PDF that says, register or fill out your Google business profile. Like, this is some serious strategy work that we put a lot of time and effort in. So definitely check this out. This is a free resource. And honestly, if you don't get this and read this and then, schedule some sort of consult call with our team, then I'm biased, but I don't know what you're doing, because this is the real deal, and it costs you nothing to get the playbook and to call us. It costs you nothing. You got nothing to
Absolutely.
lose. So check that out.
And just to hit on
Go
what you
ahead.
said there is like, it's not a one pager, and it's not something that you're just going to pick up, read, and move on with your life. Like, if you
Yep.
want to be successful, you want to become visible and get out of the invisibility, then it's something that you're going to jump in, read, understand, consume, reread, reuse.
Follow it.
It's
Yeah.
follow it and then rinse
Yep.
and repeat over and over. And I think that's the biggest thing that most people don't do, is they don't do the rinse and repeat. Well, I had success when I did this, but I had already done it once. So why do I want to do it again? Because
Yep.
repeat it, repeat it. If you're having success,
Yes.
keep doing it, more of it.
Yep.
Right. And that's what
Yep.
we don't want to do as humans. We get bored. Well, I should try something
For
else.
sure. Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, like, look at this podcast. We talk about the same things, like the 3 same things recycled, and attack them from different viewpoints. But it's this, like, we're telling you the same thing over and over again,
Hmm.
because when you do that, eventually people are like, all right, man, these guys are talking about this stuff all the time. Maybe I should check it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we're not just saying this once. Like, we're going to talk about visibility in some aspect, probably on every single podcast, every single episode, every single piece of content, because this is the thing that you need. Nothing else works if you're not found online, unless you're comfortable doing 1 or 2 deals per year from your book
Yeah.
club in your neighborhood. And if you're trying to become, if you're paying money into your marketing and, trying to scale, that's probably not the agent you want to be anyways. You're going to want to, get to the next level and secure some, wealth later on in life. Maybe, you want to take a bunch of vacations when you're old. I mean, I certainly do. That's why I got involved in real estate. It wasn't to become the best business person, but it was to live a life that, that allowed me to not trade all my time for money when I get older.
Yeah. To buy back your time,
So
right?
buy back your time. Yeah. So get the Visible Agent Playbook. Get on this stuff now. It's not too late. It's never too late. You can hop in. You can be consistent, and you never know. So in the future, we are going to talk more about how to audit visibility. My challenge for anybody listening is to go to agentelite.com/visible, do the online business listing scan, and grab that playbook. It's going to show you how to fix the gaps. It's going to help you automate trust. And look, you don't need more tactics. You need alignment. You have to align your brand 360 degrees. And this playbook shows you how to do it. So go do that. Shauna, do you have any parting words or challenges for these guys?
No, the biggest thing right now is evaluate your business. What can you do better for yourself? What can you commit to more? And where's your plan for 2026?
Love it. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, are we on for
Not
next
next week.
week?
No, enjoy the holidays,
Gotcha.
everybody.
All right. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks for the next episode of Elite Zone. And until then, get out there and get visible. We'll see you.
Bye.